Good morning and welcome. It's Sunday, very early, seriously early. I have been experimenting and I'm over the moon. But before we go over the moon together, I wanted to share with you what I'm going to be working on. And this is probably going to be a long video because I'm going to be just dedicating today to playing, because this project is giving me so much pleasure, I don't know what to do with myself. This is what I'm going to be working on, the folder envelope that we had started before, and I'm back to it with a first piece of ephemera. But before I do this, I want to get this out of the way. I happened to see this in either Michael's or A.C. Moore, probably Michael's. And I know you'll understand, but I bought this folder a present. Also, the fact that it was on sale didn't hurt. It was a $1.99 reduced. So I'm going to just have to add this piece of craziness. I love this piece of paper in this folder somewhere. So let me set this aside, out of harm's way, so to speak. That sound that you hear on the side is my new best friend. My new printer and I are really starting to understand each other, although it does have a life of its own. It's doing something now. I have no idea why, but it's happy, and it's making me happy. Plus, good news, I have learned to scan, and I've got that into my thick skull. And now my next step is going to be to learn to upload some digitals to my Etsy shop. And I gave a dry run, and I only ran into one problem that I don't understand. So anyone who has fought this war and really has no background for it, I think back to Gail Augustinelli saying that she had to go through the tortures of Etsy to finally get her digitals on, and I'm sure that I will conquer this, but that's set aside. Today, I play. I'll fight the brave digital war with Etsy next. This morning, I woke up and I thought, let me give a try. So I did that. I'm going to also put this out of harm's way, and I'm going to share something that I practiced with this morning, and I cannot tell you how thrilled I am with this. I used my handy-dandy scrap from Dollar Tree, and I used this little thing that came from Amazon in a huge package. I thought it was an empty package. Well, down in the bottom was this. I didn't realize that this is what I was getting. I wanted the bigger one. And now that I've tried it, I shall have the bigger one. So, this is Distress Ink Victorian Velvet. Let me show you what I'm speaking about. Here is the Victorian Velvet through this tight, small sectioned Tim Holtz stencil. This is not an easy stencil to make work because of the tininess of this design. Thank you, Liz, Mrs. Cog, for this. Well, okay, this sheet, I have a second sheet under here I want to, I think it's ruining what I'm showing you. Okay, this is white now, the white background. This brush and the Victorian Velvet does this. I'm going to get as close as I can so that you can see this and appreciate it. I don't think there is anything that I've done in junk journaling yet that makes me as happy as this beautiful variegation in shadowing and lightness. If you want it to be dark, you get this. If you, as the brush, the bristles start to lose some of the color, you get this, and then you can go back. Oh, I cannot tell you how that, to me, is total and utter gorgeous. So, while being in the experimental mode, oh, and I also, now I have used three. I've used Victorian Velvet, spun sugar, and pickled raspberry with this experiment, and that is still on this brush. Let's see what happens. An infinitesimal amount of pink shading. Can you see that? So that's another thing I'm going to be loving about these brushes. It's almost as though it's the palest bit of rouge because of the buildup of these colors. So the next experiment that I did using the same stencil was to try some other colors, again using the same brush, same stencil. This time I applied spun sugar here, and then I thought, self, what will happen if I put a little pickled raspberry with it? Well, this is what happens. Very light pickled raspberry and the darker one. Needless to say, this has absolutely tickled me, and again, thank you, Mrs. Cog. Liz, this is so wonderful. So, all right, that's my first share of the morning before I even consider starting, and I'm going to have to get going and fix some breakfast so that we can get out and get back home to get back to playing. So, now, happiness is. Then, I had a discussion with the printer with a life of its own, and I scanned the back and front of this because it's an experiment. It's all new to me. I wanted to see what would happen. Well, this is what happened. This is the original, and this is the scan. The scan is prettier and more depth and more loveliness than the original. Thank you, printer. So, and I printed this on a cardstock that is not the heaviest. I would consider it is definitely cardstock and a very nice quality, a little bit heavier weight, but not a cardstock of the highest weight. So this I scanned and printed, and I would love to be able to see this as a digi on Etsy, but this is the war that I'm going to be plunging into. And this morning I tried the front, and this is what I got. Well, actually, the scanned is just absolutely, the printer must pick up these colors more with more depth than I see here, but obviously this is what the printer is reading, and this makes me totally tickled. So I'm going to be using these two pages in my in this project, and hoping to share them. Hoping. So, fingers crossed. Now, before I leave, because my stomach is starting to make, I need my tea, Carol, sounds. and a little breakfast wouldn't hurt while you're at it, Carol. I'm going to use this here on the front of this folder, and I'm planning, and it just works perfectly, top and bottom, and I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to attach it on the back because the back side top, so that I can also turn this into a tuck spot. So the plan is to use this and this on this to give full background. But this will be interesting, an interesting experiment, because this paper is not as flat and perfect. It is going to be wonderful to see what these magic brushes, my absolute favorite new toy, does on this background. But I digress. This is going to be, this is the way the trifold is going to open. And as you can see, I have used paper clips to get a picture in my mind of what I'm going to have. So this is going to open, and here we're going to have another piece that I have just made, and then this will be on this side. It's going to open up to this piece, and I'm going to attach this. I'm thinking I'm going to attach this to the trifold, and I'm going to use this as a flip for a writing spot. And so this is going to be here, and here my painty paper is going to be, I'm going to attach this so that it can be used as a journaling spot. And yesterday I found this in one of my very favorite books, and I fussy cut this piece of lilac. So this is the plan for today, and the grand experiment. I hope that you will be enjoying this. I will be back later this morning, and I will put on my best artistic and comfortable clothes, and I'll be glad not to be out today, because the temperature in Florida is going to be hotter than it usually is. In fact, it might break records because of the result from those horrific storms that are going through the country from Texas and up. The bottom part of the country is being baked. So I'm going to be very happy to be in my studio with you this afternoon. I'll be back later. Well, I'm back to let the good times roll. I thought I would share my information. I asked my husband about the reason that these printing the scans had so much more color oomph than the original, and he explained that one of the features of my new contraption with a life of its own, it's an Epson XP 6000, and one of the features is the increased quality of the color prints. And this is the ink that we're using, and it's Epson ink. I guess it's number 302, and it's called Claria, C-L-A-R-I-A Premium Ink. And maybe that is the combination, or that is the bottom line, but I thought I'd share that with you. And I did a little further experiment. I wet a Q-tip, as you can see, and I rubbed on this one, this one, this one, and this one, and the amount that comes off is very, very minimal. And as you can see, it does not leave any bad blotches. Now, this, of course, is inkjet and not laser, so that's my share on that subject. And I headed down a small, very small rabbit hole for this cover. And let me share that with you and set it aside because I want to get to this. This piece is going to be here, and then it took me this morning in my thinking thoughts about art, when I should really not have been, that I would like to do a snippet roll here, a snippet band. And so I took out a piece of rather heavyweight white cardstock that I have that I use for printing. These pieces are, I think this is well over 60-pound stock. This is maybe 30, 32, I'm not sure. I wish I could remember those things or had the sense to remember them, but, so, I used my handy-dandy punch to give the lacy top and bottom, and then I decided that, well, I might, if this is flat too, then there might not be enough room if I want to put something with a little heft under there. So I decided to raise this a little bit using my, excuse me, I'm sure that will help you to recognize me. I wanted to raise this just the tiniest little bit, so I used my scoreboard and just did the narrowest lines. The first time I did a 1/4 inch line, and this heat wave is drying things out, and the dust and pollen are craziness. So this one I chose first. I tried to do that first, and I decided, no, that's a little bit too outrageous. Don't need it to be that high. And so I just went back to the 2 lines on the scoreboard that were next to each other, and it looks to me like it's 1/8 of an inch, and I decided that one would be just the ticket. So this was my tryout, and here I am. This is going to come next. I went into my my Best Buddy here and pulled out a bit of purple bits that I found. And in the back, I have been keeping tiny bits of leftovers, some pink cheesecloth, some lace, some sari ribbon, etc. And I'm going to be using the things in here to do that. But it's called Getting Control and Focus, Carol. So, oh, and my very favorite paper that I've been using for everything is this one at Dollar Tree. So I think I'm going to begin in here. Why? Maybe because it's the silliest idea, but we'll just make believe that's not so. It's incredible how things just take off on me sometimes. I just had that pad in my hand, and I put it someplace carefully. I do hate when I put things away carefully because I just could be lost for life. So, I want to cover up these sides because I want to put a little bit of a darker background on this one with this stencil, and I'm going to use the same stencil throughout so as not to make our eyes crazy. And Okay, I don't need to overdo this, but I'm not sure that I'm going to use the same. I'm going to use the same stencil, but not the same distress ink. So, sometimes the prep is more of a production than the actual doing. So just a little bit around, and I'm going to use, since that's purple, and the lilac is the lilac, I think I'll just do a little bit of the pickled raspberry, but I'm going to do it very, very lightly. Very lightly. And just here, around the edges. And maybe over here just a little bit. And now down here. Nope. Needs a little more oomph here. And let's see what we have. Good. Just a little background music. Now a little emphasis on the edge of this paper. Now I have, the one thing that I don't have here at hand today is wax paper. And this would be perfect way to use this because I would like to put this down with a glue stick. So I'm going to get out the wax paper and cut myself off some chunks, and I'll be back. I've made a discovery. Any of you that have done any sewing or seen any fabric being cut, I remember this when I was a little girl. I was very impressed. I folded the wax paper. Just get it started. Hold down the two sides, and that scissor will follow right up that fold, or even if you don't have one. Now, some papers don't do that, but yay for waxed paper and my childhood memories. I know what I'm going to do. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to put that lilac on there first, just because I want to. There it goes. All right, let's not overdo crazy. Here we go. Right. That moved down a little bit, but that's fine. Now, the lilac. Right here. Yes. And art glitter glue. Very silly, Carol. Okay, better. And here we go. Oh, I didn't want to do that, did I? No, I did not. Okay. Now, down it goes. A little over the edge, very good. Now, so center is done. Now let's see about this. Put this here. I don't want to forget that this is a pocket, albeit very narrow. I just want to keep that in my mind. So, I think I'm going to drop that when I put it down to right there. Let's see now. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Let's clean the brush and this time here and here. The Ricola has worked, thankfully. And now, very light. Now this one has to be quite light, because it could get outspoken very easily. Love it to death. because the design is dense, I'm not going to worry about trying to place the stencil. Just the tiniest taps seem to be working. Oh, goodness, yes. Don't get carried away, Carol. And down to the bottom. Yeah, goodness. And you can see why I'm just tickled. Now, this one will be, because I have a plan for here that I'm keeping a secret for the moment. I don't know whether I want that to be a band or not. So, no glue, not yet. Let's see what we have over on this side. I'm thinking some washi to make this a flip. And wait, oh, let's do this one from the top because that one's down at the bottom. And something quite light. Yes, quite light it is. I do hope that you are having an enjoyable Sunday and that you are not suffering from that awful storm that is cooking Florida and the southeast. I don't know whether it's certainly, no matter how cooked we get, it certainly does not equal what is happening in the center of our country. Let me look at this again. Okay, very little. We can do very little. In fact, right. Now, that will do for cleanup. Let's have a little spun sugar here because it's quite light. Is it working? Oh yes. Okay. And a little more. And down here. Not enough, Carol. Let's not be too delicate. This is a very light pink, so okay. And down here. can stay undone. You don't need to watch me put washi tape on there. That would not be good use of your time. And now I'm going to move on to the front. So let's do this one first. This is going to be attached top and bottom, so I'm not going to do anything there. And I'm not going to get all in a twist about here we go with my new love, Victorian velvet. And that's there. And this is here. Okay, I can remember this. No, it's not. This is here. Yes, it is. So if it's on the front, it's on the front. This is the front. I'm talking to myself. I apologize. I'm just trying to make sure that this is going to work the way I wanted it to. Yes, this one goes here. Okay, I'm just going to go all over this with the Victorian velvet. Yes, I am. So this is there, and this one over there. Okay, let's have some Victorian velvet here now. And I'm not going to put the protection papers down because this is not going to be seen again. And let me pull this over now and get the side done. Good, Carol. Ah, no problem. And some, this a little bit deeper down here. Loving it. Okay. This is also going to be here. I'm sitting here while I'm doing this and talking to you folks. I'm sitting thinking about how much I want to start that snippet. Maybe I could just lay some things down before this video becomes a life-altering experience for you folks. Okay. this design is so easy because it, yes, do you believe the back of that? Talk about purples. It doesn't have to be matched or worried about. It's just wonderful. And the last little bit right here. So where are we? We are right here, and let's get this out of the way. This one goes here. That I know. Yes, lost again. Oh, same place as the pad. Oh, wow. So, this one goes in here. Or it will, shortly. This one goes here. And something is going to I'm going to have to find something for down here, but I will. And so there and here is the front. Okay, I have to be careful when I attach this. Yes, I do. So, oh, that worked nicely. And my favorite as the front. Well, I moved along here, and the big decision now is going to be what to do on these edges. I'm going to have a think. I'm going to wash my hands because I just have to play a little bit on this, even if it just means laying down some things to get an idea. I'll be right back with clean hands. Well, all of this goodness came out of this baggie, and I had it folded down. I have to be honest and tell a secret truth that I know you will not broadcast, but I watched many of my favorite ladies on YouTube, and they would get out their packets and baskets and so forth, all filled with this deliciousness. And I would kind of do a woe is me and say, well, I certainly don't have anything even close to that. I wish I did. And lo and behold, out of this baggie came this huge pile of goodness that I've been dropping in for a few months, and it grew to this. So, no more grumping and groaning, because I have goodies too. So I thought the bottom layer might be this. Now, I know that I'm not going to be able to get this to be exactly the same, but that's okay. Because after all, we're doing junk journaling, and I'm going to sew this. So I just want to hold things. Use my handy dandy piece of wax paper now. Things move a little bit. Well, that's okay too. Now, I actually found that this little bit right in here is a plastic lace tablecloth. I guess I just had a little piece and put it in my snippet bag, and here it is back and being used. And being used. And just this little bit down here at the bottom. Up here. It's not stuck to my nail. And down we go. So the first layer. What next? What next? I think some bits of paper that I can plop down. Plop being the operative word. I can plop down here. Do I need to do this? Well, maybe. Just a little bit here and there. Maybe that one can go there. And this is iron paper. It's quite something. I don't want any hard edges, so maybe that can come down here. And what else do we have? Violets, so the operative word being violet. And ooh, seriously pretty. Seriously pretty. Maybe that will go there. This will go here. Just seeing how the royal purple stamp that I had gotten, and I remember that. I did it on a piece of my go-to tablet of paper, and into the snippet bag it went. Alrighty. And look at the ghost. Oh, the ghost is quite pretty also. What else do we have here? We have plenty of more ribbon and soft things than I thought that I had. And there we go. Okay, pretty. What else? What else? Let's have some, I think I saw some music. Let's have a little bit of music, yes. Can't go wrong with a little bit of music tucked in. Maybe one more piece over here. And looks like a piece of Edith Holden. Yes, it is. A little bit of her page edgers. And some more green back here. Yes. Okay. And I think I'm going to, no, not yet. I was going to put a little tiny bit of art glitter glue back there, but I'm not so sure now. One thing I did see somewhere, I did see some leaves. Where did I see them? Oh, look what's in there. Where did I see them? Oh, I have these. Those are pieces of paper from a stencil. No, I saw, oh, look what I have here. Lo and behold. Just lo and behold. Down here. Okay. I need things here. I need things. Well, when all else fails, you have pictures of lace. I have some lace bits, but I thought I'd wait up to the next layer. In watercolor, the mantra is change color, change color, change color, and in snippet belly band making, it seems to be layer, layer, layer. Have I got any place else here? Let's see. Let me go into one of the others. Into one of the others. Oh, yes. Yes. Anything else in here? Anything else in there? Don't need that. Of course, that wouldn't be snippets. And I'm talking to myself again. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to check to be sure that I'm going in the right direction with this. So, let's have a little I guess I had that, oh, there it is. Wasn't squeezing enough. This side. Yes. And this bit. Let's do this one. This little bit. Because I have some lace and I have my my lace bin handy, so I can do that. And this little tiny bit of 1920 MCM XX 1920. No wonder that is so very, very fragile. Because it wasn't a good quality paper to begin with, so. Now let's do this one. And then this one. This one right here, because I can and I want to, and then I can get to the soft stuff. I haven't had that much experience in doing these, so I know some of you are saying, no, Carol, this is not the way it's done, girl. Well, ignorance is bliss on this one. Oh, and I have these. Do I want these? Yes, I think that would be pretty. And how about one more smaller one? Right up there. Yes? I think so. I have some soft goodies here. That would be nice. This would be nice. And maybe this one down here. Let me get my white lace bin here. I'm almost afraid to wonder how long I've been at this. Do not know. Something pretty and smallish. Yes, let's have two of those. Let's definitely have two of those. Oh, I think I have something here also. Those. And this as a bit right here, under here. Oops, okay. If I should cover this entire thing with a nice little, no, hides it too much. All right, let me just do this, and I will stop for the day. Is right where it belongs. And then this one. this one here. And I believe this one goes underneath. Oopsie daisy. 2, 3. Flowers. 1, 2, 3. And I'll move this. And what's next? This one. Right here. And then this one. And I'm going to stop and clear off a little bit, not too much, because I want to get back to my pickup journal. So that one is going to go there, and wax paper for a good push down, and I believe this one is going to go here. And this one up here. And this one down here, and I think I'm going to stop. I want to let this dry and do some stitching. This way. And this one. That one's going this way. This one has to go this way. It is. So far I've been lucky enough about finding this pin, because it fits perfectly into this nozzle, and so I will make some rhyme or reason, and we'll have a look at what might be here. Oh. Try to glue itself right down to the to here. Well, that's all right. 91% alcohol will cure that. Oh my, my, my. Touch of white sometimes is just the ticket for something like this. Okay, one here. And here. That'd be 1, 2, 3. Come on now. I know there are more than that. 4. They're hiding. 5. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I have to look at them because one side is shiny. And of course that makes a big difference. So That's correct. One, two, one, two, three, four, and five. Well, this has been so much fun, and I did do this snippet, and I do hope that you have turned off, paused, or whatever, because I was having a play-a-thon today. I'll be right back. So here we are. Two very productive and fun things that I've worked on today. I hope you have enjoyed. These are not, of course, attached yet because I'm sure I will think of other things that need to be accomplished here. And we saw that the value of those makeup brushes. And something that I did not expect to get to today, but I couldn't resist. I have to be honest, I just could not resist. This is the snippet belly band, and I did add these two pieces of ribbon that I found in that in my magic plastic bag. So this will be finding a place for itself right on that left side of that folded envelope cover. And this one this is going to be the front cover of this trifold. And it's going to be attached on the back. This is the inside. And here are the other three panels with the fussy cut lilac. Excuse me. If you have enjoyed this visit today, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I would certainly appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Bye now.